When I'm skiing, I feel strong, I feel powerful. You are reacting to the terrain and challenging yourself and looking for challenges. Architecture is the same for me as skiing in so many ways. I am challenging myself, I'm taking risks. I do want to push boundaries and I experiment all the time. I'm always seeking out a different way of doing things. How can we work with the site? And how can we make this better?
Queenstown-based architect Stacy Farrell lives in the perfect location to pursue her love of skiing, but it's also an incredible canvas for her architecture. My name's Matthew Ridge. Stacy's taking me on an adventure to see 3 of her favourite New Zealand buildings designed by other architects and 3 examples of her own work. What I already know is Stacy places huge importance on the environment her homes sit in, and on coming up with stylish and innovative designs, so I'm expecting to be seriously impressed. First port of call, Maui, right at the bottom of the South Island, to show me her family beach house, which she says is a great starting point for understanding her work.
Here we are.
Wow. That is super interesting. Hey, you big fella.
Don't want to give it all away at once, but there's something on the other side as well.
I'm sure there is.
And hello,
I'm sure
Jack.
there is.
Thank you for coming and meeting us.
Look at that. It certainly was a hike getting here, but well worth the wait.
Yeah, well, a part of the adventure and the journey getting here, you feel like you've arrived somewhere, don't you? Somewhere special.
Well, it's definitely somewhere special. Standing here is quite amazing because the path just leads you down into the house.
Yeah, so you just led into this
That's really cool.
low-leaning form. You can see the giant beech tree and the lean on it. We have some pretty wild and woolly weather. We're in Southland.
No
we're right
doubt.
near Bluff. So really wanted to feel like we were low and hunkered down. We had it for many years, and we would come and we would camp on the land just so we got to know it, and we'd climb some trees. Me being me, I was like, this is where the floor level's gonna be, and I'm like up a tree and things, and camping here and weathering the storms and knowing what the weather's doing and where the sun comes up and where it goes down. And that informs the decisions I make during design.
I've only just met Stacy, but she's a live wire, that's for sure, and her energy is infectious. And I can tell by the unusual shape of this design, whatever's behind that front door will be very interesting indeed. The cloakroom?
Yeah, mudroom, shoes off, coats off. Yeah, feeling really compressed and have a little breather.
Yeah. The only thing we could do with is probably a little gin and tonic on the side.
No, there's a gin trolley. It's out of shot.
Is that? Oh, perfect. Okay. All right, after you.
Right, yes, and come on through.
Ah, yes. This is cool. There's not one bit of white in this place. What a great feeling.
I actually gave myself a little design challenge that no plasterboard in this house and nothing white. I wanted it to make you feel like you're sort of in a really warm place,
Snug.
like hunkered down and retreated. But then
Definitely.
you're just like open to the view.
Wow, it is so beautiful. Oh, it's just... Oh, that's cool. Look at that. It's a table tennis table, but it's doubling as a dining room bench.
Yeah, that's
No way.
That's what this room is about.
Oh, I love this place. Wow, look at that. I have never seen that in all my travels, ever. That is just so funky, it's ridiculous.
It's all about the fun, isn't it?
Oh,
Are we
absolutely.
playing? Are we playing?
Yeah, we're definitely playing.
All right.
Are you kidding? And how cool's that net? Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. And it's all reclaimed timber too, so
Yeah. I just need to put a caveat in here that I haven't played since I was about 3. Okay, you ready? Oh, you've been playing heaps.
No.
Sweet. Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, jeez, you're good.
All those years.
Okay, so it's 1 point all. Okay, 1 point all. Winner takes all. Oh, there it is.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah! So boom, got it.
Oh.
No, thank you.
I feel like that was rigged.
Yeah, it was pretty much rigged. Wow, no, but let's get back to the serious business.
Okay, sorry.
Despite the distractions, I've been having a good look around, and if Stacy's beach house tells a story about her sense of style, it's a story I like. Dark tones mixed with warm timber features and an overall sense of relaxed and playful calm. There's also a material I seem to remember being used as cheap flooring in the 80s and 90s, but here it is on the wall.
That's the oriented strand board, and it's a sandwich panel of insulation, basically.
It's obviously hugely practical, but it's really quite beautiful as well.
People normally overline it, but I'm really big on reduction of wastage and materials, and it was a little bit of a surprise because we dyed this ourselves, and it feels quite oriental, but it just came to life when we did it. And then the plywood on the ceiling, no plasterboard, nothing white.
And it looks amazing though. It gives it a real warmth and heaps of texture. And that is cool.
Oh, the kitchen bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's laminate.
Yeah, it's just Formica, old school Formica.
Yeah, but how you've put the brass around it just gives it a really cool look. And then you come out here. Now that's ridiculous. How beautiful is that?
When you come here and you immediately just see the waves crashing, that was the inspiration for the brown form and the black form. They just collide like the water does, and it hits the beach and it hits the sand dunes. That collision of forms.
See how you've got the Manuka, like obviously the wind has swept it like that and it's got that angle.
Just like the roof line, it's just on that lean, you know?
Some architects really understand the importance of their role in shaping the world around us. And it seems to me, Stacy's one of them. No feature or detail is accidental here. Every element has been carefully thought through and contributes to how this place makes you feel. It's also clear Stacy places a priority on making sure her design complements the site, right down to the materials she's chosen and how she's used them. Everything belongs right here.
It's always about sight. You're engaging with nature. You've got all the dwarf toto and flax flowers, which are filled with tui. They're singing a metre away from you. So it's about respecting it, touching the earth lightly, looking after it. It's all about a feeling for us. Coming here, you want to have a different point of view. It is life-affirming, and it makes you take stock. It makes you stop and think and appreciate all the goodness, really. It's a very good place to come and enjoy.
Thank you. I will come down here.
Oh, that was an invitation.
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe I've got a style, but I suppose the one thing you might say is that it always comes back to sight, and the form relates to the site. It's low and it's hunkered down because it's a pretty harsh environment there. Mother Nature's in control of it all.
One thing I've found working on designing dreams and meeting architects like Stacy Farrell, it's often the architect's own homes that I find most interesting. Maybe being their own client gives them the freedom to do what they really want, so the end result becomes a showcase of who they are and what they're capable of. Just north of downtown Queenstown is the scenic suburb of Arthur's Point. In this stunning location, beside mountains, river and lake, Stacy and her husband Ben built a home right out of the ordinary.
Living in the mountains, I run in the hills away from everybody and everything, and it's amazing for my headspace. And I came running one day and found the little for sale sign on the section on the site, and couldn't sleep that night. And I was, Ben was like, "Why? What's going on? Why can't you sleep?" And I just said, "Well, I just keep thinking about that bit of land." And he said, "Okay, we'll go and have a look at it." And eventually, we bought the land, and it's been wonderful. It really has been a life journey.
Clearly, the most striking feature of this house is its angled shape. Like any element in Stacy's houses, there's a purpose behind the idea, and in this case, once again, it relates to the site.
The whole area in Arthur's Point is a landslide zone. You're in the mountains, there's massive faces of rock that have boulders and rock that have broken off and slid. That really formed the basis for my design, and what we wanted to do here was represent that geology, the rock forms sliding down the hill, breaking away. And the form of the house is one large rock, let's say, and it has broken apart. Black House is actually something that has evolved as a staged project. It means a lot to me or to us because it's about our life and how we've been living it. So we built part one and then we lived in it and experienced it and enjoyed it. And then we've built part two, and that's another experiment. It's all an experiment as we go. So a big part of my design is about the journey and getting to the spaces that we're creating. And when you're here, there's this huge light shaft and we're coming through the pieces of broken face rock, that split face rock. And the green is the inside of what's broken apart. One of the biggest things when I'm designing is building up texture, and it's a composition of materials and forms rather than the actual texture of a material. It's everything together. And sometimes the texture is even in the patterns of the material, for example, wood grain, the swirling, lineal nature of that. And it's very forgiving, and it makes you feel at ease and comfortable, and like you do want to sit down on the couch, or ultimately you want to move outside onto the deck. Of course, the view. It's always about the view, looking up and looking at the trees and enjoying being up in the mountains. As you come upstairs, there's a deliberate change in palette and colour and materials. It's from darker to lighter. I wanted to make sure that we have these different spaces that you can use for different times of the day, for different moods, because we're human and you don't always want to feel one way. You want to have the building speak to you and help you and change you and affect your mood. There's the big window, the grand window that is framing magnificent, tall, linear trees. You just want to be out there and feel them. The windows on the side walls are on an angle that match the cladding. It's all about that tilt and the play on the landslide zone, and that's why they're on an angle. But it makes for some really interesting views as you move around the house. There's no technology in here, and there's a really laid-back, low-slung sofa that you can read and you can just take in the view.
These days, the original house is rented out, and Stacy has converted the lower garage into her studio. This is where the magic happens.
I'm not just creating homes or buildings, I'm creating structures that are an experience. And that drives me, is challenging people a little bit, getting them out of their comfort zone or into a comfort zone. I had one of my colleagues say, how do you keep inspired? And I think you have to look up. You have to look up and look out, and you also have to not be too hard on yourself. Every project I work with what we've got. We're working with the land, we're working with the site, we're working with the client, and we're looking at what we need and how we can make it fun and interesting and not be boring.
The best way into the Abel Tasman National Park at the top of the South Island is by boat or quite a long walk, because there are no motor vehicles allowed. So it's a fair old trek to see the first of Stacy Farrell's favourite homes designed by other architects.
I've brought you here because there's something really special here, and it gives me hope for the future of design and building in New Zealand. It's a little gem called the Cabin.
Sneak peek here, Stacy. Yeah, my first impression is I was expecting to see like a wooden hut sunk into the hill, but it's actually quite industrial.
Yeah. They've used steel because there's a pre-assembled off-site method of construction, and then you bring it here and assemble it. The Corten steel, the colour of it, it sort of blends it into the bush. It's always changing, its colours change, and there are a lot of colours in it. And the steel obviously has a permanence. It's going to be here and be here a lot longer than a timber shack.
Very nice. Oh, that's quite exquisite now that we're up here.
Yeah. Well, we've got a lot of different textures. We've got timber and we've got steel and we've got some beautiful grating. You get all of this sort of leaf rot and it sits. Whereas when we've got this grill or this grate, it can fall through, but also it feels like it's hardly here because it's see-through.
It's true, actually, and especially with the planting and all that stuff will grow up, it'll soften it. So far, this has been a real surprise. The exterior elements are a sharp contrast to your normal timber batch, or crib, as they're called in the South Island. So I'm keen to see what's inside this cabin. Ah, yes. Oh, that's something quite special, isn't it?
It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a really beautiful view.
The materials are really beautiful as well. I kind of get it now. You got the steel on the outside, which is, you know, it's different.
Yeah.
But then in here, it's just pretty much all wood and no jib.
Yes, no plasterboard. It smells amazing. You can smell the timber's macrocarpa.
You certainly can. That's cool.
The window seat, yeah. Yeah, just a little glimpse. And you can actually see but not see the shower from...
Is that the shower out there?
Yeah, there's an outdoor shower and an outdoor bathroom. So it's a bit like when you were camping, sort of got those references to childhood holidays and
what a great
taking your torch out to the long drop.
I need to stop and remind myself where we are, because the quality of the cabin is quite hard to believe for its location. Everything would have had to been shipped in and hauled up the hill. So building here took a lot of determination, hard work and careful planning. And what a result to end up with. Fantastic.
And look at these light fittings, like all these sort of brass. It all feels quite nautical almost. Sink tap, that's brass as well.
The craftsmanship is exceptional.
All this cabinetry, they've made it somewhere in Nelson and then they've bought it here and put it all together so that there's no wastage, you're not taking everything back out on the boat. There's no excess, it's just tight and contained and it's small and it's just what you need.
One thing I've noticed is there doesn't seem to be anywhere to cook, which is all good, but you can cook. So you've got the outdoor barbecue here, so you don't have the cooking smells inside. It's a small area. That's really smart. This opens out. I can see that. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? Wow. Oh, that's
This is like being on a ship again.
Isn't
Very
it?
nautical.
What a difference light was, because it was quite dark here, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, we've got different timbers in here too that are much darker as well.
Yeah, the cedar.
But you're still very enclosed from the elements and... Do you want to take over?
No, you're all right. You're doing a really good job.
Don't need to do any work there.
I like that. I like that. Doubles as maybe a dining room table, certainly somewhere to put your beer or your glass of champagne in the afternoon or the morning if you're that way inclined. It's a really nice area.
It's great here, just looking out. And there's so much about looking out and looking in and having these different views.
It just really flows. And for a small place, like it really works, doesn't it?
Well, it gives you everything you need.
Oh, that is glorious, isn't it?
Makes you realise why we're here, I think.
It sure does. That is absolutely superb. I can see why you brought me here. This little cabin is quite exquisite.
It's really interesting moving through such a tiny little cabin, but there's still so many different spaces created. We've got the roof deck with the wonderful view, and you really feel uplifted, and you come up here and go, oh, you do. And then there's all these moments of different feelings that have been created with each space. They make you feel good, and there's magic about it.
That's good architecture.
I think it is. You can feel that so much care has gone into it. They've thought about all the textures, they've thought about the site in every aspect, and it creates something that has all come together beautifully. I think that's good architecture.
Architect Stacy Farrell places a priority on designing homes that fit their environments. And here in Dalefield, near Queenstown, she had an inspirational landscape to work with.
This site is a designer's dream. There's 360-degree views. There's ponds, lakes, and we're in a rural environment. the farmhouses and things that we know everywhere we see, there's this collection of buildings. It's never just one building. The houses get added onto and they're all different parts. So in this design, I picked up parts of the building and just moved them apart. Each one has its access. And the peaks of the roof reference the mountains all around. When you're arriving at a destination, you've been on a great journey there. And I think it's really important to not be confronted, to be eased in. So I've tucked the garage away so it's not confronting and it's not the first thing you see. And you get out of your car or you arrive and there's no confusion about where the entry is. I always want to visually connect to a site because it almost feels disrespectful or rude not to. And lazy. You can't just plonk something on there that's the same as something you've seen somewhere else that looks right, because that no longer feels right. You've always got to connect all the senses. And the entry is something that gives you a certain feeling. So we've arrived. It's slow. There's glimpses of what is inside, but we now are here and we have to choose. We've got this gallery, which is a connecting item for all parts of the building. And a huge part of that is the owners. Kate is an incredible artist, and I wanted to set it up with a sense of space and a gallery. And another part of living in Queenstown or being in Queenstown is that it's not always a beautiful sunny day, and you come in and you need to take coats off and boots off, and then there's the winter moments to just take a breath. So then we've chosen and in we go. So when you come into this space, there's a sense of volume, a sense of drama, the really high ceilings and the high windows that are picking up those mountain views, and of course, direct view to the water. This is the heart of the house, the living room, and this is where it all happens. And as an architect, I really wanted to make sure that this space had drama and volume, and you felt alive and excited to be in here. The clients really wanted separation within the house, so we created each access with privacy, and you're not looking at each other from each part of the building. But the heart of the home, the busy space, and everyone's coming together here. So the beauty of splitting the building into parts is that we create voids between those parts. The house is called Reflections because of the water and the reflections off the ponds. So each part of the building is set up on an axis to have a water view. And they're contained, sheltered from the wind, and each one gets sun at different parts of the day. When I think about my Reflections project, I immediately smiled. There's a real energy to it. You experience something with your senses. I want to keep doing this and creating interesting and different places and spaces that make you feel something.
Heading back towards Lake Wakatipu and Queenstown, Stacy's taking me to visit the second of her favourite designs by other architects. And this, she tells me, is a little beauty.
Oh, this is really cool, isn't it?
It's very cool.
This is the small, perfectly formed and award-winning Bivvy House.
What a beautiful little building, isn't it? Perched perfectly here, gorgeous view.
It's very special, I think. When the architect has started, Vaughan has started with this design, the site had already been cleared, so he sort of had this big kind of cutout, and he's picked up the line of the building so that it doesn't look like a big cutout.
The shape of the roof is sort of the same lean as the as
it
the
picks
land.
up that line.
Yeah.
So it looks kinder to the environment almost, and like it was supposed to be here. It's very clever.
Very clever.
And even the colour palette is all about the site, the stones, the rocks, rusty colour of the timber, and the concrete is coloured to blend it all in. And it's not extravagant. He's kept it small. It's not saying, I'm here. It's saying, I'm here and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
But let's go inside because it's getting pretty cold.
It's raining. I really love the doorway, though. I mean, that is so special. Just tucked
Rock
into
is
a little
insane. Look at the
I
size of
know.
that. Imagine getting that in here.
Yeah, and it just fits perfectly.
Oh, that's super. Look at that.
Yeah.
That is outstanding.
Yeah. It all takes you to the lake view. Everything kind of pulls you in.
The ceiling is leading you down to this beautiful little area that we have.
The amazing, cosy window seat. Everybody loves a window seat.
Oh, I love that window seat. It actually draws you right here, doesn't it? Like you're actually pulled into this area on a Saturday, Sunday, cup of tea, paper. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's glorious. Wow, I love this place.
I know the clients are really active people and they're really outdoors people. So here you are tucked in and you're out of the elements because you've been in there all day.
You want to be hunkered down.
Yeah.
You want to feel cocooned.
And you do, like this whole house almost makes you feel cocooned. There's no excess. Even just the coffee table.
How cool is that? Big giant slab of a rock. And you know how people tell you to take their feet off the coffee table?
Yeah, and you have to use coasters because you don't want to damage the coffee table, but it's not a problem here. All the materials in here are actually exterior materials, really, because you've got that texture on the ceiling ply and on the wall and the door when you came in. You've got the concrete and the rock, and so it really is inside, outside, with lots of hard surfaces and high ceilings.
It's not big, but it feels big.
Yeah. There's so much restraint. It must have been quite hard to convince a client to say, oh, no, this is how we'll set it up.
Oh, yes. Oh, you know what I expected, though? Like it's to see, like, a reasonably big window here.
Yeah,
But the window's there, which is nice.
yeah. So the view is perfect from this position, from bed. But it also, if it was a great big window, when you came into the room, you wouldn't feel as hunkered down because it's a bedroom.
Exactly. Makes complete sense. Oh, this is cool.
Absolutely.
Oh, look at that.
It's such a special bathroom.
That is the world's, tallest shower. That is a proper rainwater shower, and, it acts as a bath. It is a bath.
It is a
I'm
bath.
standing in the bath. Oh,
There's a seat in the
and
bath.
a seat in the bath. Oh, that's super.
Yeah. And it's a bath big enough for more than one.
Oh, you get 4 of you in here.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Why wouldn't you?
I want it. Can we have it?
You could come and stay here. I don't know.
I will have to.
I'll let you do negotiating with
I'll
the
do
owners.
that. I'll do that.
We can build you one though, Matthew. I've got just the girl for the job.
Okay. There's a lot of what you value in your work on display here. How you bring the outdoor elements indoors into your buildings.
Yeah.
The only thing the downfall of this place is it doesn't have a table tennis table in it. And we've got a rematch coming up.
Okay,
eh?
we've got rematch, yeah. Well, yeah. I'll let you win next time, Matthew.
Okay.
For the last of Stacy Farrell's favourite New Zealand designs by other architects, we've left the South Island and ventured just north of Auckland. We're at Brick Bay Wines and Sculpture Trail, but that's all I know. To keep the element of surprise, Stacy hasn't told me exactly why we've come.
No doubt it's magnificently beautiful, but all I can see from here, I guess you'd call it a greenhouse.
Oh, there's a little bit more to it than that. But essentially it is a greenhouse in a rural context.
Am I going to find vegetables and stuff like that growing? Because that's really not going to light my candle.
I promise you there's more.
Okay.
Look, this might be a little giveaway. What are they? Starting to get some glimpses of colour. Do you still think it's a glass house or a greenhouse?
Well, it's definitely a greenhouse. It's actually really, really intriguing because I've still got no idea what it is.
It doesn't really give too much away, does it?
Oh, no, I've got it. I just heard the plates go ding, ding.
Oh, plates
It's a
go
bar,
down.
isn't it? Let's go.
I soon discover this big glass house is in fact called the Glass House. So I was bang on. It feels like a modern take on the traditional vineyard tasting room, so certainly my kind of place.
It's a nice surprise, isn't it? I didn't expect that when we walked around the corner.
Yeah, you sort of come through and all is revealed again.
So you've got outdoor dining here, you've obviously got the indoor dining there, and then...
And then you flow out to the sculpture trail.
That's awesome. So you have something to eat, take the kids for a sculpture walk.
Yeah. The fact that the water goes underneath the building, I think is pretty special.
Oh, so it does, isn't that
Yeah,
cool?
yeah.
Oh, yes, so it is like a bridge. Like, I never would have picked that. I just would have thought the water'd stop there.
This is an incredible sense of place, and the building is so much about where it is. So many of the materials, they've all been chosen, I think, to be with the water. Got so much glass and transparency and reflection. And I really love the coloured panels. I immediately arrive and I want to touch them. I've never seen them be used in this way ever before.
It's quite playful, isn't it?
Yeah, I find them quite fascinating. And they're actually a velvety texture as well. They're not glossy and shiny.
No.
Which all of this is really glossy and shiny and all about the water and the reflections.
It throws a nice sort of light off as well, eh? It's like it's quite a soft light.
Yeah, and when they lit up, they're like lanterns at night. You sort of get that thing of the lanterns floating on the water, let's say.
The Glass House acts as a hub and gateway to the Brick Bay Sculpture Trail, a popular attraction for locals and visitors alike. Architect Noel Lane is well known for designing successful public spaces. Just up the road from Brick Bay, he helped transform the centre of Matakana with the Market Village development. And Noel's Tanoa is a remarkable centrepiece of the South Atrium at the Auckland War Memorial Museum. Here in the Glass House too, Noel has managed to combine room for different needs in the same confined public space.
We are in a bridge. Everything's see-through, everything's glassy. You really feel like you're outside. All the doors are open, the breeze is coming through, and we're on our way to the water.
Oh, that's got a really nice feeling to it, isn't it?
Yeah. And you've got the shade cloths, you know, it really feels like a glass house when you're in this space, I think.
I'd love to sit down and have something to eat. I don't think we're going to get that opportunity, though.
Oh, I think
we might later.
Are. Maybe.
Or should we just push on through and see if we can knock this off and come back for a feed?
Yes, I think we should. But you sort of really come through the space now, and then that continues through. Look at the beautiful vines growing over the pergola and, you know, that sort of tunnel-like feel.
The ambience here is really nice and the energy's nice. It's just a real calmness.
It is a real calmness. And
Yeah.
I think that is something to do with the water, you know?
Yes.
The water always makes me feel calm. What I love about this building is the materials in it are so different than what you normally see. So there's texture in the build-up of materials and the choices of materials. Nothing is on one flat plane. Everything is going in and out, even in the aluminium. There's the frame and then the glass is set back or forward. And I think one of the biggest things for me is it does respond to its site.
Yes.
That's always the starting point for me, the site.
I wanted to take this opportunity to thank you because it's been a real privilege. We've been up and down the country. You've showed me some wonderful buildings. I've learned plenty off you.
It's been an absolute pleasure working with you, Matthew, and it's been really nice to show you some places that wouldn't have been on your radar. And look, you know, let's finish off with a lovely meal.
Happy days.
Happy days.